Hello, welcome to the third video on social groups and religious participation. So today we're going to focus on gender and religious participation. Now this is going to be page 46 to 47 within the textbook. Now there's a range of evidence that women tend to be more likely to participate in religion than men. As we've identified in previous videos, obviously the main form of work in terms of religiosity falls onto women because they are more in charge and more inclined to socialise their children into being religious themselves. Now the church census records participation in church denominations in England and Wales shows that between 1979 to 2005 women were consistently more likely to attend churches than men. Now we're going to have a quick look at these statistics in the next slide. Now obviously what you can see from that table is quite clearly that it's been pretty consistent with the attenders who were female. Meanwhile for men, it's remained on the 40 mark. However, it's decreased as time has gone on, and obviously in 2005 slightly increased. Now, opinion poll evidence also suggests women are more religious. A poll conducted in 1990 by Brearley found that 84% of women believed in God compared to 64% of men, showing that significantly women are more likely to be religious than men. Obviously we're going to look as to why this might be the case as we go through this video. Now, evidence on New Age beliefs produced by Paul Healer suggests that its followers are overwhelmingly female. If we're going to get really specific about details, middle-aged or older. This could be because these traditional religions are no longer fulfilling that spiritual thirst by which they once had. Now, Madood here in 1997 found in the 4th National Survey of Ethnic Minorities that Muslim women were more likely to say religion was important to them than men, but men were more likely to attend mosque. Obviously that could be due to the restrictions by which the mosque places on women as to when and when they cannot come to pray and worship. However, this could be partly because some mosques do not also welcome women due to them being of an orthodox nature. Now, Alan Miller and John Hoffman here identified two main theories explaining women's greater religiosity, which they put into two great subheadings: differential socialization and structural location. And we're going to go through each one of these now. Now, according to Miller and Hoffman, women are taught to be more submissive and passive than men, and these characteristics are associated with being more religious. If we just look at some of the mainstream idols by which women have got as inspiration within religions: Mother Mary, kind, submissive, loyal, etc. All characteristics which will be transmitted to women. Now, traditional religions tend to expect their followers to be passive and obedient. Research in the USA suggests that the less passive and obedient men are, the less likely they are to be involved in religion than other men. So obviously it plays a big hold as to whether or not that passivity and obedience is actually ingrained into an individual as to whether or not they would start to follow a religion. Now obviously that can account for those gender differences because women are seemingly and stereotypically more obedient and passive than men. Structural location now, according to Miller and Hoffman, this is the view that women take more part in religion because of their social roles. So due to them having that expressive role by which they care for and they socialise children. Now, men are more likely to be the full-time breadwinner, while women are more likely to be housewives, work part-time and bring up children, so having the expressive role. This gives women more time for church-related activities, so attending the regular church meetings, etc. Therefore, belonging to a community by which they could not be provided with because they are not working. So furthermore, women who do not have paid jobs and may have a need for this type of role because it provides them with a stable identity and as well as it fulfills them ever so much. Now, taking children to church is also an extension of the mother role because women are the primary carers, Meanwhile, it wouldn't be something which you would really fall on and expect men to do. Now, Miller and Hoffman go on to quote research which suggests that even when these two factors are taken into account, it does not fully explain why women are more religious than men. And they argue that a third factor is important as well, which is going to be attitude to risk. Now, research suggests that men are more willing to take risks than women. Now, not being religious can be seen as a risk-type taking behaviour because of the possibility that it may lead to failure to enter heaven. So therefore, an eternity of damnation as a result. Now, Miller and Hoffman's research shows that both men and women who are risk adverse have higher levels of religiosity as a result. So, which can obviously contribute and explain why some women are traditionally more religious than others. Now, the next section we're moving on to is Steve Bruce, Gender, Religion and Secularization. Now, Bruce argues that religion has an affinity with many aspects of femininity, such as those that women are less goal-orientated, more cooperative and less domineering, due to them being so submissive and obedient. Now, these attributes fit not just with traditional religions, but also with spiritual beliefs of the New Age. So women are particularly attracted to healing and channeling aspects of the New Age movements. Meanwhile, men tend to be more interested in parapsychology, by which deals with like the paranormal elements of life, which are a lot more risky in their approach. Meanwhile, women, again, with the channeling and healing, it's that caring, nurturing side which is forever still being developed throughout these processes. Now, Bruce believes that the modern world has a sharp divide between the public sphere, so the paid work and politics, and the private sphere, the domestic world of the family and personal life. He supports the theory of secularization, which argues not just that religion is declining, but also that it is retreating from the public sphere towards the private sphere, because women are more closely connected with the private sphere than men. Women are more likely to remain involved in traditional religions as a result of this. Now, women tend to become involved in traditional churches because they are particularly interested in the socialization of the next generation and control of sexuality. So therefore, they would operate those moral codes of modesty, if we're going to look at like the Amish communities, and that again, it preserves themselves to an extent, as well as providing the next generation of children with an ideology and doctrine which provide them with a stable set of norms and values which will help them live their lives successfully. Now, Bruce believes that there are differences in which type of religion continues to appeal to women according to their social class. So therefore, we can see a direct link back to our previous areas of study here. Now, working class women continue to support religions which believe in an all-powerful God, so they tend to be quite monotheistic in a sense, and in which they are quite submissive. So, a perfect example of this, Catholicism. Now, the next one we've got is middle class women are more experienced of controlling their lives and more attracted to New Age, in which individuals can develop their own spirituality. So they are the more likely to attend the Fine-Torn Community Project and use plant spirits to help themselves as well as the plants develop and grow. Okay, last slide here, guys. Now, it's Linda Woodhead and gendering secularization. Now, like Bruce, Woodhead believes that secularization reduced the involvement of men in traditional religion as they became increasingly involved in the rationalized modern world. Now, as men withdrew from churches, they became increasingly feminized and began to place more emphasis on love, caring relationships. So therefore, they were looking for that idea of confluent love as promoted by Giddens. Now, then by the 1970s onwards, increasing numbers of married women returned to paid work, where they were exposed to the rationalised culture of employment. As a result, the number of women attending church also began to decline rapidly. Obviously, you can also argue with the increase of equality, women seemingly were no longer the ones that were earning a lot less, because they, for once, were able to be on the level footing as men. Now, this helped to explain the rapid reduction in church attendance in recent decades. Now, Woodhead believes that women still remain more religious than men, partly because the emphasis on relationship with churches remains, but also because New Age beliefs helped to resolve the identity problems of women combining paid work with caring roles. So therefore, it's helping them understand their role and position in society as a result. Now, if you've got any questions, let me know.